Good evening and God bless everybody. It's Father Joe over here at Holy Ground Church of Christ. I'm over here and in my office, and we're going to have Tasha Roundtree, Kevin Butler on our advisory board on tonight, and the three of us and Ken Day and Jeff Vega, all of us on the advisory board are going to be discussing and putting together some legislation that would do two things. This is what we'll be working on in 2023. We will be working on reliable, consistent, science-proven roadside drug testing for cannabis use. And in short, the testing will it'll have to be as accurate and as reliable as alcohol testing. We should be able to know by someone's weight and nanogram levels if they're able to drive or operate heavy machinery or ATVs or anything like that. So now Tasha Roundtree is going to bring up an important point, and I'll on the record agree with her before we even start the discussion. There's people that have cancer or have been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness who are using cannabis to try to save their lives, and they use RSO or similar products. Those folks are going to have off-the-chart level of nanograms of THC in their system. There should be some special consideration for that. I'll let Tasha explain more as I bring her in. But let me bring everybody in here after I say our opening prayer. Good evening, and God bless all of you, and thank you for joining us tonight. We just ask you, Father God, to please guide us and direct us in everything we do as we make decisions on behalf of all hemp farmers in the state of Michigan and hemp consumers. We want to always protect the farmers and protect the people who use our products, the consumers. And so we protect farmers, and we do consumer safety here in our organization. So this board, advisory board, is there's 5 of us, but there's only 3 of us present tonight, and we're going to be discussing enforcement for the hemp laws here in Michigan and roadside testing. So let me bring everybody in. Tasha, are you with us?
I'm here.
That's Tasha Roundtree. Thanks for joining us. Kevin Butler's with us. Good to see you, brother. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Can you guys hear me when I was talking?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we're only going to do a 30-minute show today, so I want to get right to it. Tasha, like I was saying, you brought up a valid point. If we're going to do roadside testing, there should be special considerations for people that have palliative care or hospice, for example, or heck, let me play the devil's advocate. Hey, there's a certain nanogram limit. That's it. And if you go over it, you can't drive. You have to have somebody drive you. I mean, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. I mean, that's what some people might say. It's like, look, there's going to be a limit, just like alcohol. And just like alcohol, if you can't meet that limit, then you can't drive or operate a heavy equipment. What do you got to say about that?
To an extent, I think that's excuse me. To an extent, I think that's fair. If you're receiving palliative care and you can't drive, then you should have a driver. But if you happen to be just under treatment and under receiving care, maybe you're stage 4, but you can still drive. You can still get yourself to the store, and you want to retain that sense of independence. I think you naturally would have higher limits than the next person. But simply being medicated does not mean intoxicated. And since DUIs are driving under the impaired, there needs to be a way that we can test people who are medicated to make sure that medicated does not mean impaired. That's my only concern, is how do we differentiate between people who are taking even high dosages to be medicated, say somebody with MS, somebody with cancer, and somebody who is just, I want to smoke a joint.
Yeah. I'm writing this down.
Because
We're going to talk, you guys, we're going to be talking about this. You know, right now, Democrats run, you know, things here in Michigan. And, but I don't think this is a partisan issue. We're a nonpartisan organization. Although we're a conservatives, Christian group, at Coptics, I mean, we associate with Islam and Buddhists and everyone. There's, I mean, we don't discriminate against anyone. We recognize all nations of God. So, I think, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because this is going to be controversial. Some old heads in the weed industry, they're going to be mad when they're going to say Joe is up to no good. He is trying to do get a roadside testing bill done. Well, let's be, I'm mentioning this because they're already doing roadside testing, and it's a mouth swab. Are you aware of this, Kevin?
Yes.
You know, it's like a mouth swab. They reach in your mouth and swab your mouth, right? Is that right? And it's pass or fail, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So
there's no like certain level that you have to be at to fail that.
Yeah, it's the nanograms are so low you could have used a month ago and test positive.
Right.
Yeah, see, we can't. That's not safe and reliable. That's not reliable. That's not like alcohol. You can't have recreational cannabis use. See, when they passed this bill, they and legalized adult rec use, they really screwed up when they didn't handle what we're talking about right now. We shouldn't even have to be talking about this. We're a hemp company, but unfortunately, we have to address cannabis issues occasionally. It's not our forte. We do hemp, but because the CRA and the and MDARD are now combined in our world now, it would not be appropriate for us to not make a comment on this, especially as a conservative group. Look,
I feel as a Christian.
Well, give me 1 second, Tasha.
Okay.
And I want to ask you guys this. Just think about this. I'd like to hear it from both of you. They already have the testing. Do we want that testing they have? Because I don't. I mean, you don't think we should get something more like I'm talking about, where they got to know within hours, you know, like your weight and how much you smoke and what percentage of what it was. There's a chart, and you know, dang, if I wait 2 hours, I can drive home. Don't you think that's a lot better idea than what the program is they have now, Kevin?
Yes, yes, I do. And I don't see how they can do that program that they have now, and that it's not accurate at all.
It's all or nothing.
Right. It's all or nothing.
I mean, you get pulled over.
Like you know how long THC stays in some people's bodies. So it could be over a month.
Yeah.
And it's testing it at the lowest level, and they're saying you're impaired off of that lowest level.
Imagine if you hadn't used cannabis for a month or two and you got in trouble for it. Oh my God. That's not even morally right. You pass a law for recreational cannabis to increase jobs and generate revenue in the state of Michigan and to show compassion, right? But they failed to cover this part. So no one else is doing it. I checked around. There's some private organizations that are doing it, but they're not involved in the industry.
Right.
Well, I think if by being a conservative Christian group, you not only have a moral, but a financial and moral obligation to make sure that people are safe. And again, if we bought medical marijuana to make sure that we could afford people good paying jobs so that they could buy cars and buy homes and take care of their families, then we can't turn around and prosecute them for having it in their system and then using that to go to roadside asset forfeiture. So
Yeah.
now, once you have it in your system, if we're going to seize that car, how are we going to get these people to work? So if you smoked a joint or a blunt a month ago and it happens to still be in your system, and now the officer says, up, because me and my best friend were talking about this earlier. Well, what if you just, you're putting on your lipstick and you look like you're swerving? Or what if you accidentally hit a curb because you just take it a little too hard? And an officer says, I think you're impaired. And you take this test and you just simply have some in your system. But if you had the better system that we were discussing, where it can say if you were actually smoking or ingesting it 4 hours ago, without that test to differentiate that, you would absolutely lose your asset. You will lose your car. You might lose your job simply because it's in your system, but you're not even impaired. Without there being a way to differentiate between medicated and impaired, these systems are not, they shouldn't be implemented until we can get a better system in place. Not just if you have THC in your system, that must mean you are impaired. That is a false
Well,
statement.
I think we should. I mean, it's official today on this podcast. We're we are seeking a bill, the Michigan Hemp Farmer Association / Conservative Christians for Cannabis Reform. Uh, we're asking for a bill from lawmakers to have roadside testing for cannabis. And we're explaining right now, and we're going to brainstorm over the next weeks and months, and we're going to figure out what exactly, break it down on what we think is appropriate. And we're going to communicate with lawmakers and say, hey, look, we think this is important. I've also sent some emails to some of these organizations where you see the signs that say don't get high and drive. I did send an email on our behalves asking them, informing them that we too also seek a bill to have roadside drug testing for cannabis, and explain to them what we were talking just about here in the last 15 minutes. With that being said, so before we close that part of the the brainstorm up on that, and take away stuff to take away with and think about, you guys, for the next show or the next email I send you guys, is what do we want to I already heard what you said, Tasha, the consideration about people that are medicated. I told you what the other side might say. We need to be thinking about all the aspects of that way, both sides. How are both sides, and be honest about it. Like, I hate seeing there's people that are going to say, hey, no, it's got to be this level and that's it. And if you don't hit that level, I can tell you there's a group of people I know in the house that are going to say that. They're going to say, no, it's got to be a certain level. And we will be lucky to get them to say that. You got something to say, Jeff?
Yeah, I got something to say. And they know that almost 90% of our state gets high.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so many people going to jail, and they're going to make money off of it.
Yeah. Ken. Hey, Ken's coming on. Let me add him to the stream.
Okay.
Ken, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Everybody else here can?
Hey,
Yeah,
Ken.
I hear it, Cam. Hey, what's up, Cam?
Hey, Ken, we're just wrapping up this part of it, but
Number 4 is supposed to work this side with the green
oh,
man.
you're at the airport. You all good? You
Yeah,
good?
yeah. So I was doing a consultation in Louisiana, and I had to stay an extra day and had a layover in Texas today. So my timing is just all messed up, dude. I didn't know it was 8. I'm just I got to get my bearings right.
Personal items that need to see in front of you.
Hey, at least you're on your way home, right?
Yep, I'm on the way home.
Good. Well, so I'm going to catch you up real quick. So the two things that the advisory board's working on this year is reliable roadside drug testing for cannabis. Not this stuff they have right now where they're just doing a swab and you're either dirty or you're not, and you could be smoked 30 days ago and get in trouble. That's not scientific. They passed the law. It's recreational, just like alcohol. So just like the alcohol test, they got to be able to tell us if you're Ken Day and you weigh 200 pounds and you smoked 2 hours ago, you can drive again. Like just like alcohol, like that, just how they tell you they got a formula figured out, they got to have the same science available for cannabis. And shortchanging people with the current testing that they have, it should be legal. It's not reliable. It's on proven science, and we all know that you could have used cannabis 30 days prior. Kevin said this. He said 60 days. Think about that. There are people, it could take 60 days, and they literally would piss hot. They would swab.
Because
Kevin's right. There's people, man. They smoke weed. You know what I'm saying?
And if they smoke wax, it could take up to 6 months.
Wow.
Exactly. Remember, we were smoking. I had to stop smoking about 3 or 4 years ago, and prior to, I was heavily smoking wax and tea. Real high concentrated THC, and it took a good 60 days for my schedule for my urine to get clean. And I could see through each drug test it would lower. Sometimes it would lower, and then 3 days later the nanoliters,
nanograms,
the nanograms would be higher. So it's, you know what I mean? And I hadn't used.
Wow.
So it was kind of like, it's kind of like a metabolism type thing. So I don't know what angle they're gonna come from to make this legit. It makes it reputable. You know what I mean? Is it gonna be, it's gonna have to be a conglomerate of different research to make this complete. Otherwise, it's gonna screw a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has to be voluntary. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's voluntary right now, actually. They'll tell you if they pull you over that you have to take it, but it's my understanding from my attorney that it's a voluntary action. Do you guys know that? Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
I haven't heard it.
In Ohio, you are allowed to refuse the test. But if you do refuse the test, you are automatically license suspended. You are automatically it's like saying I'm not going to take the test, so you're just going to assume that I'm guilty.
Wow. It's instant guilt.
Instant guilt.
Wow.
Through 5, you're welcome.
That's crazy. Well, here's the second piece of business, you guys. We all need to, we're just taking notes. I'm writing notes down while we talk, when you guys comment on this stuff. So we take it in consideration. Ken, we did a rehearsal before we started, and then we covered a bunch of information on that too, but I'll be emailing everyone some stuff to consider. And people, if you folks think that there's something I'm missing, you just add it to it. You say, hey, did you consider this? Like Tasha was talking about RSO users. That was another consideration I wrote down. How do we address that? Right? I
Right.
mean, 'cause their nanograms are going to be off the chart.
Dude, off
These
the
people
radar.
have cancer and they're dying. I mean, some of these people have chronic pain. They just have so much pain. They use the oil just like they would use a opiate. They use it in place of the opiate.
Exactly.
Those kind of people, they're going to be off the chart. I mean, I suspect that there's a group of voters or lawmakers that are going to say, we don't care about that. It's going to be this many nanograms and that's it.
But at the same time, I kind of understand that because that we all know there's so many different cannabis products. You know what I mean? That we almost have to understand that part. That hey, they're not gonna be able to boil it down to say, well, if you use edibles, then here's the scale, or if you smoke, here's the scale, or if you use concentrates, here's the scale. We all know they're gonna bunch it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what?
That's the hardest thing.
We could try to offer some guidance.
Right.
And that's what this is about. That this is a focus group, and we're gonna figure out what to focus on and give a conservative view on as cannabis supporters. All of us, we're all pro cannabis, pro hemp. All the whole board is. The only one not present tonight is Jeff Vega. There's 5 of us this year. And I can tell you all of us are pro cannabis. Jeff doesn't use cannabis. He does eat hemp. He's getting into it, some how it is, you guys. Some of these guys don't know, it's new to them. The whole thing's new. Okay, so the second thing, because we're running out of time here, I sent everybody got the Industrial Hemp Growers Act 220. So please review that, because we want to understand how we pay $1,350 as licensed hemp business folks here, all of us here, and we can't sell edibles, but they can ship them in from out of state. And we need to figure out, all 4 of us here, where in this language will that language help us get that nonsense turned around. Every single one of us are super smart. So one of us or all of us are going to find some things in here that we can use to create an agenda to get this fixed, because this is killing our farmers, especially minority farmers. Tasha, what were you saying about the minority hemp farmers, how we have it a little bit worse than the normal farmer?
Because we have a limited number of access to resources and for funding. So if it's expensive to be a farmer, it's even more expensive for minorities to be farmers.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. As you guys already know, because we have the co-op, we were building on that today, you guys. We got all that salvaged wood, all the nails and wood tore off it, and we got all the wood pretty much to make a 20 by 30 pavilion. And Ken, you'll be able to come out on Sundays and bring your soap or whatever products you want. Anybody in the organization that is a member, they can come out and set up a table. It's absolutely free. It costs nothing because you're already a member. and set up a table and sell your products right there on M21 at a 4-way stop. Ken, it's a 4-way stop now. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that you haven't been out here in a while. It's a 4-way stop.
And
Did
you
I
get
tell
all
you
the
that?
traffic going, all the workers going to the prison back and forth.
There's so many cars that are out here now. You guys, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And they used to go by there 60 miles an hour.
Saranac is growing.
Yeah, it's growing.
They have to go through there to get to that jail. So some of those people work in Grand Rapids. They live in Holland. Saugatuck. They can spread the word. As they go back, things are gonna just get bigger.
I'm gonna give you guys because we're gonna close here soon. The last piece of business that our group's working on this year. So you heard the first two. Roadside testing and then enforcement in the hemp industry. What really is it? What is that? What's that look like? And where's the holes at that are hurting us? We're gonna figure that out for us, for our team. And then the side thing to figure out is Jeff Vega and the Michigan Hemp Farmer Association are going to partner up and do a seed trial for the chicken hemp feed. You guys know how I feed the chickens the hemp? Well, we ran out of hemp. It's all gone now. We've used it all up. Finally, remember all those blue bins that I had and the cardboard ones that were up in the attic of the barn? All that stuff is gone.
Wow.
So
now we need some more seeds to do.
Yeah, we need more seeds. So we're going to grow an acre. Jeff's proposed an acre, and we're going to bring the Michigan Hemp Farmer Association in. If that ends up happening, because that vote has been tabled by the board, because we got to know what the budget's going to be. My family doesn't want to pay all that money. We don't know how much it is. You follow what I'm saying? My wife said, hey, how much is it going to cost us? Well, I couldn't even tell her. So I asked him how much he thought it was going to cost us. He couldn't tell us. So he said, why don't you figure it out? Well, I'm trying to figure out what I think it's going to cost. So I can tell the family, because all of us kick in every month, to make this stuff happen. So everyone wants to know what we're committing to before we commit to it. Especially Harrison. Harrison was highly concerned. He's like, well, what are we talking here? Like how much?
Yeah, Pookie don't play.
Yeah, he don't want to be spending money unless he has to. So, but I think the chicken research thing is a good thing because and we're going to talk about this off the live when we're not live, but I believe it's legal for us to proceed with a supplemental chicken feed. I'm going to tell all of you guys why, and I'm going to present you with a presentation on the wall that makes me believe that it's legal. So this is something we can do as an organization. You know what I'm saying? Like we can all figure out. It can all be figured out, so everybody gets a little piece of the pie. And everybody does a little bit of their own part. And it could even be rebranded 4 different ways if you want to. I got companies that'll do all the packaging. You know that. You know too, Kevin and Tasha. All 3 of you have been around that long. I can get all the packaging and everything will be legit. And I think we can do it, but it can't be called feed though. I don't think it can be called feed because animal feed ain't legal. That part ain't legal. But a supplemental feed is legal. I believe a supplemental feed is legal.
Right. Supplemental feed.
Yeah,
that's different.
Right, that's different.
I think we can all get it together, man.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, look. You guys have the Growers Act, so when we meet next time, the whole discussion is going to be about how we. I mean, I think we need to figure out what we think is appropriate for roadside testing, and I think it's appropriate that we figure out enforcement. Let's all remember. I know we all agree on this already. Jeff, I can speak on his behalf too. There's no jail time associated with any of this. Nobody goes to jail for
asset
they might get fined. They might get a fine. And, they might not like how much the fine costs, and they might not have their license for a month or a year or 5 years or whatever.
Right.
But they ain't going to jail. At the end of the day, nobody goes to jail for this stuff anymore. This is craziness. Somebody's got to stand up and say that.
Yeah,
right.
But we do impose sanctions so that it doesn't turn into the wild, wild west. But ultimately, no one knows. We're not going to jail. But
yeah, I mean, trust me, nobody wants to be fined a bunch of money and have their license taken away for 5 years.
5 years.
This ain't street stuff. This is agricultural industry now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't no street thing. So we got to treat it like an agricultural thing. So, anyways, that's what's up. Anybody got any questions for me?
Yeah. So as we gather our research pertaining to the field test, this package, how we interpret it and send it over to you, or is that how you want the actual research sent over to you, or discuss it? Or... Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's very light.
Oh.
There's just some background noise. I just think it's because you're in the airport.
He's froze.
Yeah, he froze up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tasha, are you still there?
I am now. Yeah, so when we're doing research for the field test, and we're kind of packaging the idea and, from our point of view, you want me to for us to just email that stuff to you or call you and discuss it, or how are we gonna?
Yeah, you can call me. You can call me direct, or you can email me, or you can text me, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We can have a private chat about it, or go meet up if you guys want to meet up and have lunch or something, whatever. But
anytime for lunch.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's going to be like a half perspective, half science type thing. As far as we got to have.
I'm going to try to find. You weren't at the meeting yet. There was a YouTube video or a TikTok or something. I saw it on Facebook. But basically, this country or this government agency of some sort from another country, they had this test where they knew if you got high within 4 hours.
Oh,
it was within 4 hours, and it was a mouth thing. But I don't know if it was real. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to find it again, and then I'm going to research it backwards and see if I can figure out if it's a real video and where's that at. Because if some little tiny country has that in Europe, you can't tell me the U.S. can't do that.
Exactly.
Right. Now,
see, you're going to have to. What's that, Tasha?
Are you gentlemen going to Hash Bash?
I'm not, because I'm so tied up here at the farm.
I'll be there.
We are going to have to meet up. You should come down there, and that way we can all meet up at the Hash Bash.
I can't make it, but you three, you guys should all hook up.
We can link up and go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how we do it. Yeah, it's nothing.
And then
I got a new job, and right now it's still 5 days a week, but on the 10th of this month, I switched to 4 days a week.
You should look both of me and Ken up on Facebook. so we can message back and forth on Messenger.
Yeah, if you can't talk,
Absolutely.
then we can coordinate that.
We can meet up. I'll be up there. Let's meet at the main stage at, let's say, 1 o'clock. Are y'all gonna be up there that early?
Well, is this this coming weekend?
Yes.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Saturday.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna
That's why I can't go. If
step
it
up.
was on a Sunday, I
Yeah, he
could
got to
go.
look at his calendar.
He's so popular.
Yeah, I should be I should be good as long as you
I'll
know.
be here working at the farm. You guys, I'm barely gonna get everything done that I need to do this year.
Okay.
I mean, it's that tight because
I'm gonna come out and help. I'm gonna come out and help, man.
Because I can't hire a big team anymore. I just don't have the money to do a big team anymore.
Right.
So it's been me and a couple other guys, and that's it. And we're the only
Right.
volunteers.
Okay.
Like today, we just pulled nails out of boards for like 6 hours straight,
Right.
and salvaged about $1,000 worth of lumber.
Okay.
It was in a dumpster, and I asked the guy, "Hey, can I jump in there and take the lumber?" He said, "Sure, go ahead." So yeah, we got probably about 10 hours worth of labor in it, salvaging it all. But now all that lumber, it's going to build a 20 by 30 pavilion here at the farm. And that's actually where we're going to have the Michigan Hemp Festival this year.
Okay.
It'll be in that little thing. It's just going to be private this year. There won't be no public people.
Okay.
That was decided at the board meeting. That got decided. No big deal this year. We're gonna ask. I'm not even gonna say it because it's public right now. But somebody who's been real beneficial to our organization from day one. We're gonna ask that gentleman to give us be our keynote speaker via internet. We'll have a TV set up out there, and we'll all be eating food that I cook. And we'll have our Michigan Hemp Festival out there.
Okay.
So, anyways, you guys, we're 9 minutes over, so I'm gonna do the close the show, and thanks for joining me. You guys know what the subject is. That's our job the whole year. This is what we're gonna do this year. Our group is so. We're gonna go at this a whole bunch of different ways, and this is just the first conversation about it.
Let's get it done.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And good luck getting home. Be safe, bro.
All right, I will. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Enjoy your night.
All right. Good night.